Welcome back to another edition of Bill Plays Bass. So today we're going to be looking at something special, and I mean truly special. I've left a few hints in the title. So we're going to be looking at a really rare bass from the 80s, from Ibanez. It's neck through, it's active, it's got an ebony fretboard on it, which somehow just goes awesome with active and neck through always. I don't know why, but that is like the greatest combo ever. And in this case, it's pearl white. So if you know your Ibanez's really well, or if you've watched my channel, you might have a thought as to what this is. So your thought might be, say, this here. This is a 1982 Ibanez Musician MC924. So it is neck through. It is got the ebony fretboard on it. It's active passive, and it is by far and away my favorite bass. It is also on the rare side. What's funny, these are just incredible basses, and when Ibanez made these, they put this inscription on the control plate. So they knew they were onto something. You know, built by the proud people of Ibanez, Japan. So these are iconic. So many famous folks have used these, and they're hard to get your hands on, but not really. All you gotta do is spend money. They're not cheap. Honestly, I think if you can find one under $1,000, buy it. And by the way, right now you probably can. You might have to import it from Japan. But these basses, by anyone who's ever owned one or touched one, they're just coveted. However, you can just go out and buy one anytime you want one. You just got to spend money. So that's not rare. Not only that, they did make these a number of years, a couple different flavors of them. They became the MC 2924, I believe, and then there was a really rare, like 15 bass reissue of that. But there's probably thousands, maybe 10,000, maybe 15,000, I don't know, of these floating around in some shape. Now, so what we're talking about today meets a lot of the same criteria, but it's a completely different bass. So check this out. This Headless Wonder is a 1986 Axstar AX1000B. So this comes from the crazy shape era that Ibanez had for a little while. There were the Axstars, and then there was another series before that. Unfortunately, there were not any basses. So in the Axstar line, specifically basses, 1985, 1986, there were a 4-string and a 5-string bolt-on model. So those, which are considered rare, I believe one year they were active, another year they were passive. It's a completely different bass. There isn't this headstock, which we'll get into in a minute. I don't know if they use exactly the same licensed Steinberger bridge or not, but the body shape is all weird. It's all scrunched down. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they even made those. This, however, like I said, is neck through. This is an older body. This is a 5-piece walnut and maple neck. Got a lovely battery access cover here. This headstock, which is unique on a Headless unit, is there. I'm going to show you. Let's see if you can see this. I can't tell. Hopefully you can see that. But it's got kind of this, it's got the serial number. And then it's actually a weight that they've added in there. And that's to allow for this. So on a Headless guitar bass, it is very, very unique to see something that balances. So this was how they went about it. This has got 2 active low impedance, think EMG pickups that still have the cool little stickers on them. I'm going to show those because there's so few of these basses. This is only the second video on the planet that I'm aware of for these basses, and the first one kind of sucks. So it is got these 2 humbuckers. It's active, and like a lot of zany Ibanez basses from the 80s Roadstar series, I have a ton of those, or I still have more than a few. But anyhow, the volume is not here like you would think it would be. You'd think this would be the volume, but instead it's a pickup pan. And then there is the actual volume, which on this has a center to tent, which makes no sense. And then we have bass and treble. So, I'll turn it down for a sec. So yeah, there are purported to be less than 200 of these that were ever produced. And after owning this, I may or may not know why. I'll share that with you here in a bit. But it's a really nice lightweight bass. I think it's really punchy. I like the color. This one hasn't faded as much as my 924 has, so it looks kind of even better. This is not mint. So there's kind of a big, I don't know if there was a scratch or something here. It's been repaired or kind of painted over. There's a few dings, but it's still pretty nice shape, even though it's a little beat up. Has the truss rod right here at the neck, which I just adore that. But anyhow, let's listen to this a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's kind of interesting about these. So let's go to just mostly both pickups. And then we'll go for just this humbucker here. I love how punchy that is. It's like a P bass on just steroids, right? It's a, I do have, actually, so just a really great punchy sounding bass. The rear humbucker by itself, I'm going to turn the treble down, see if I can make something happen here. So. Does a little bit of that kind of honkin' jazz rear pickup kind of thing. But there's a little bit something missing, and we'll talk about that. So when I purchased this bass, the first thing I noticed is that the strings were on the light side. And by the light side, I mean insanely light. So normally a bass with normal gauge strings on it, say 40s, 45s, I gauge action by kind of being able to bend the G string up like a half a step. So if I can do that, and the bass is that pitch, generally I feel pretty good that action's pretty good. Well, in this bass, I can go up a whole step, and then I can also go up a whole step and a half. I can almost get 2 steps if I bend one of the higher frets on the G string. So what is on this is a set of like 90 to 30s. Thankfully, they're fresh. So when I bought the bass, I kind of immediately I bought it online. It's the only way you're going to find one of these things. You're never just going to see this hanging up in a store. You're never going to get your hands on one first before you get to buy it, unless there's just some miracle. You just happen to know somebody that has one of maybe 200 that are out there. So I just contacted the guy back and said, hey, what's up with these strings? I mean, is there something wrong with this thing? So like one of the things, if something has kind of a weak truss rod, you might decide to put really light gauge strings on it. Older stuff, sometimes, the truss rod just doesn't want to do what it wants to do. Like if you had an ancient rick, I know they didn't, it was like factory warranty gone if you put heavy gauge strings on it. The newer ones are not fragile like, say, 60s models are. But anyhow, I'm like, hey, what's up with this? And he played dumb. He's like, oh no, what do you mean? What do you mean light gauge strings? I'm like, dude, this is like insane. I mean, it's hard to play clean because the strings are so light, and there's some other issues. The pickups are up too high. I need to fix that. But you can't play it hard at all because of this. But anyhow, I really like the way it sounded, and I was like, well, it does play awesome, but I'd rather be able to play more standard stuff with it, right? So I bought a set of Ken Smith, I think they're 40s, double ball ends. And when I went to put them in, I couldn't get them up anywhere near pitch. So I just put one in. I think I put an E in, and then I took it out and compared it to this one. This one is a bit shorter, not a ton shorter, like like that much shorter or something like that. I think that's got something to do with it. So there is one of these out for sale right now in the entire planet of Earth. And it's at a reputable shop. If you search for Ibanez AXB1000, you will find it. And they're like, hey, yeah, this thing's awesome. However, the intonation is such that you're going to have to play like drop D or something. You can't get it in tune. So either something happens to these over time, which I kind of doubt, or there was something about these that required a certain type of string. I'm going to say it's the latter. The one video that's out there on YouTube right now of one of these is, it's the same color as this one, and you can just hear the light flimsy strings on it as well. So what I believe is that these are an actual Steinberger branded high C set, which is interesting that they sell that. Like, why would they sell those? So I'm wondering if there were other basses maybe that had an issue like this. Haven't went out and got the strings yet, but GHS also makes a 90 to 30 set that I'm going to give a try. And then like once I find a light set that works, I might try to get a medium light set that works. And I say light, I mean, these are beyond ultralight, but I might try to go up a gauge and see what happens. I would say this, if you're watching this video, you have one of these, like what strings do you use? Also, do you have the original owner's manual? Can you like post pictures of that online? Because these things are crazy, stupid rare. So yeah, that's one of the things about this one and about others that I have either noticed online or kind of read through the lines that, okay, there's something going on. I really love the way this thing sounds. Right now, the setup is with these strings and these pickups. It's hard to kind of do some things. Check this out. So if I just touch it right now, it's fretting out. Ooh. But it's like this thing's set so low, you want to do like that Victor Wooten thing, right? Of course, one, I don't have a scrunchie. Without the scrunchie, it's like so noisy. But with this, it's terrible. It's like a... Oh, when you can do that, you're just like, oh man. So overall, I love this bass. It's quirky. It's totally 80s. And I'm all about that, so that's not a problem for me. I love the fact it's lightweight. This is 8 something. I don't know what. There's no way this is 9 pounds. The balance is awesome. The neck feel, I heard it described as like a C type neck, which is, you know, sort of chunky, even though it's really thin, you know, narrow. Your fret access is as good as it's ever going to get. I like the style and I love the color. These are only available in this pearl white and black, by the way. And yeah, just a really cool bass. So once again, I'll beg and plead, if you have any information on this, reply to my video. That would be amazing. I love it. I'm going to try to get these pickups down and maybe do a better demo of the bass. But I just wanted to get this out here as soon as I can to see if I can get people kind of taking a look at it. But anyhow, if you enjoy bass reviews, technique, news, and sometimes guitar. So this is Bill Plays Bass and sometimes guitar. And I'll probably pull one out at some point. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with another video.